Deep underground in an undisclosed location, this is Tread Comics presents He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is an American animated television series produced by Filmation, based on the Mattel toy line Masters of the Universe. The show, often referred to simply as He-Man, was one of the most popular cartoon shows of the 1980s. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe made its television debut in September of 1983 and ran until 1985, consisting of 2 seasons of 65 episodes each. Reruns continued to air in syndication until 1988, at which point USA Network bought the rights to the series. USA aired He-Man and the Masters of the Universe until September of 1990. The series takes place on Eternia, a planet of magic, myth, and fantasy. Its lead character is Prince Adam, the young son of Eternia's rulers, King Randor and Queen Marlena. Whenever Prince Adam holds the Sword of Power aloft and proclaims, "By the power of Grayskull," he is endowed with fabulous secret powers and transformed into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Together with his close allies, Battle Cat, who undergoes a similar transformation from being Adam's cowardly pet tiger, Cringer, the Sorceress, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and Orko, He-Man uses his power to defend Eternia from the evil forces of Skeletor. Skeletor's main goal is to conquer the mysterious fortress of Castle Grayskull, from which He-Man draws his power. If successful, Skeletor would have enough power to rule all of Eternia, and possibly the entire universe. The Mattel Company released the original He-Man action figures in 1982. The franchise backstory was developed by the Filmation Animation Studios. On December 1st of 1982, Michael Halpern wrote a series Bible. Sometime after, both firms pitched the idea to the ABC network, who turned it down. The resulting series, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, debuted through barter syndication in September of 1983 and became the first syndicated show to be based on a toy. By 1984, it was seen on 120 U.S. television stations and in more than 30 countries. Despite the limited animation techniques that were used to produce the series, He-Man was notable for breaking the boundaries of censorship that had severely restricted the narrative scope of children's TV programming in the 1970s. For the first time in years, a cartoon series could feature a muscular superhero who is actually allowed to hit people, although he more typically used wrestling-style moves rather than actually punching enemies. Though he could still not use his sword often, more often than not, He-Man opted to pick up his opponents and toss them away rather than hit him. The cartoon was controversial in the fact that it was produced in connection with marketing a line of toys. Advertising to children was itself controversial during this period. In the United Kingdom, advertising regulations forbid commercials for He-Man toys to accompany the program itself. In similar fashion to other shows at the time, notably G.I. Joe, an attempt to migrate the negative publicity generated by this controversy was made by including a life lesson or moral of the story at the end of each episode. The moral was usually directly tied to the action or central theme of that episode. The show was so successful that it spawned a spin-off series, She-Ra, Princess of Power, following the adventures of He-Man's sister, Princess Adora. Mattel's subsequent attempts to relaunch the He-Man toy line also led to the short-lived sequel series, The New Adventures of He-Man, in the early 1990s, and an update of the franchise for a contemporary audience in 2002. Deep underground in an undisclosed location, this is Tread Comics presents She-Ra, Princess of Power. She-Ra, Princess of Power is an American animated series produced in 1985 by Filmation, a spin-off of Filmation's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series. She-Ra was primarily aimed at a young female audience to complement He-Man's popularity with young males. Unlike He-Man, which was based on the Masters of the Universe toy line by Mattel, the creation of She-Ra was a collaboration between Filmation and Mattel. The initial group of characters and premise were created by uncredited writers Larry DiTilio and J. Michael Straczynski for Filmation, while the characters introduced later were designed by Mattel. Mattel provided financial backing for this series, as well as an accompanying toy line. This series premiered in 1985 and was canceled after 1986, after 2 seasons and 93 episodes. On March 22nd of 1985, Filmation released an animated film based on the series titled He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword. The film is composed of 5 episodes from the She-Ra television series: Into Eternia, Beast Island, She-Ra Unchained, Reunions, and Battle for Bright Moon. A rebooted series, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, premiered on Netflix on November 13th of 2018. The series follows the adventures of Princess Adora, Prince Adam/He-Man's twin sister, who leads a group of freedom fighters known as the Great Rebellion in the fight to free Eternia from a tyrannical rule of Horde and the evil Horde. With her sword of protection, Adora can transform into She-Ra, just as Prince Adam can transform into He-Man. Born on the planet Eternia to Queen Marlena and King Randor, Princess Adora is kidnapped by birth by Horde and taken to Eternia. There she serves as a mind-controlled Horde force captain before He-Man rescues her. After reuniting with her parents on Eternia, She-Ra decides to return to Etheria and lead the Great Rebellion. The first season of the series ran 5 days a week, like He-Man. The second season aired Saturday mornings. She-Ra ended in 1986, and the character was not mentioned in the 2 subsequent He-Man cartoon series reboots. The female She-Ra characters were released in the 1980s as part of the Princess of Power toy line, while the evil Horde were incorporated into the Masters of the Universe toy line. In the 2000s, an exclusive She-Ra toy was released for the Masters of the Universe 2000 line. The later Masters of the Universe Classics toy line features characters from the entire franchise, including new action figures from the She-Ra cartoon series.